If he was alive today, would the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius watch the football? Well, I think the first thing we need to find out is, did Marcus Aurelius go and watch the gladiators at the amphitheatre? Because that sort of seems like the equivalent of the Premier League back then. Speaking about such events, Donald Robertson writes, "To Marcus, it was an absurd distraction from his duties as emperor." So it doesn't start well. He came to loathe the amphitheatre, but felt obliged to attend at the insistence of his friends and advisors. To me, that says he would go and watch the football because he wants to look like a man of the people. Sort of like when you see Prince William at Aston Villa games when he wants to pretend like he's a normal person for a bit. But this begs the next question. If he's going to the football, who would he support? Well, I think he's got to be a London-based club because he's a very important man. He needs to be close to the capital at all times. And it's his upbringing that gives us a key hint. The emperor was born in 121 AD into a family of considerable status in the Cælian Hill of Rome. This was a region that housed many of the wealthy and elite. An incredibly affluent area like, I don't know, Fulham. The similarities between Cælian Hill and the West London area are reinforced by this Reddit user who, when questioned on its reputation, remarks that the scariest thing in Fulham is probably the pigeons. This is the Roman legionary fortress where Marcus reportedly wrote some of his meditations. And this is Craven Cottage. And I'm not saying they're identical, but I am saying as Premier League stadiums go, I think Marcus would look at this one and think, yeah, I feel at home here, this is the club for me. So Aurelius is going to the game, but how would he behave in the stands at Craven Cottage?
So the Stoics think we narrow our attention down onto things, and they realise if you broaden the scope of your attention, it'll tend to dilute the emotional response. So you might have said something that annoys me, right? Now, taking that one remark in isolation, I'm going to focus my attention narrowly on it and have this intense emotional reaction to it. Whereas if I broadened my attention, if I did know more about you, I might think, oh, maybe you do a lot of good things. Maybe you've had a bad day. So there would be a more rounded picture. So I can still disapprove of the thing that you did, but not be completely emotionally overwhelmed by it.
To me, that says if Marcus was at the Fulham game and he sees Alex Iwobi, for example, misplace a pass, he's not going to lose his head. He would instead be able to recognise the many good contributions Iwobi had made to the game and understand that this one misplaced pass doesn't define him as either a player or a person. The same could be said for an incorrect decision by Craig Pawson. I can't see Marcus Aurelius there giving it, "Oh, fucking have a word with him then, ref, fucking hell." If Pawson made a mistake, perhaps Marcus would instead be able to recognise the many mistakes he himself is capable of making on a daily basis and find it in his heart to tolerate Pawson's error in a graceful manner. Robertson writes that Aurelius tried to make the best use of being at the amphitheatre by treating it as an opportunity to practice contemplative exercises, and I see no reason why he wouldn't also be doing this at Craven Cottage. Finally, and this one's an important one, what would Marcus Aurelius get for his half-time meal? Well, Robertson tells us that when he was young, Aurelius was fit enough to spear wild boars from horseback, and if he liked hunting boars, I think Aurelius would go for something pork-based. Now, there's no pork pie on the menu at Craven Cottage, so I think he would go for the next best thing, a hot dog. But I know what you're thinking. When we see him depicted visually, the emperor is always pretty ripped. There's no way he would order that and compromise his physique. But stick with me because I've looked into this. As he became more committed to his studies of literature and philosophy, the emperor neglected his body, writes Donaldson. He's having the hot dog because he's too busy reading his books. And what is he having to drink? Let's have a listen for some clues.
Did you know that Marcus Aurelius, he made a vow that he was going to go to Eleusis, just outside Athens, and be initiated into the Eleusinian mysteries? And that must have meant that he drank the kykeon, which is this small quantity of liquid, which some people believe contains ergot, which is like its kind of precursor of LSD.
So Marcus is just doing LSD on holiday in Greece, and if he's doing that, he will have a pint at half time. And I don't have anything historical to back this last bit up, but I just think out of these options, he would get a Guinness. And that's it. I hope that answers your question. Would Marcus Aurelius watch Premier League football?